Thank you, Chairman Sessions and Ranking Member Mfume, for the opportunity to bring the voice of the nation's 295,000 active and retired city letter carriers who work at the center of our nation's $1.9 trillion mailing industry. Unfortunately, I have to begin with a solemn note. On Saturday, June 21st, Jacob Taylor, a letter carrier in Dallas, Texas, died while doing his job. And while the circumstances of his death are still under review, it's of course a heartbreaking loss that serves once again as another jarring reminder of the on-the-job hazards that letter carriers face every day, such as crime, assaults, extreme heat, dealing with problems with infrastructure such as outdated postal vehicles and other factors. If the American people's mail and packages are to be protected, the people who deliver them must first be better protected. I urge this subcommittee and all of Congress to do everything in their power to work with us to mitigate these risks by passing the bipartisan Protect Our Letter Carriers Act, which has been introduced in both the House and the Senate earlier this year. 1 month from now, the Postal Service will celebrate its 250th anniversary. It's older than the country itself. As Chairman Sessions mentioned in his opening, it's also rooted in the Constitution, and it's as essential as it has ever been to keep Americans connected. The Postal Service has a long and successful history of reinventing itself. We are in the middle of its latest transformation under the Delivering for America plan. While it certainly is far from a perfect plan, it includes much-needed modernization of the processing and delivery network that was built decades ago for a much different mail mix than we handle today. In addition, leadership at the Postal Service throughout the late 2000s and 2010s slashed mail processing capacity rather than modifying and modernizing it. Modernization is long overdue. One of the primary challenges of such a transformation is maintaining and improving service while you modify a massive network. Service delays and disruptions are unacceptable, and more must be done to address these issues that continue and persist in some locations. But changes are necessary for the Postal Service to provide and improve the service that the people of our country need. Some will suggest and have suggested radical changes, downsizing, returning to failed initiatives from the past that benefited seemingly everyone but the Postal Service, or even privatization of the services that we provide. As a letter carrier who knows the Postal Service inside and out, I promise you none of that is the solution. That mentality does not serve 169 million homes and businesses every single day. When Congress seeks to make changes or understand the operations of the Postal Service, I urge you to come to us, the people who work within the system every day and are invested in the service that we provide to the American people. In recent years, Congress has provided some help in our efforts to stabilize the Postal Service finances through bipartisan legislation. But two financial changes are still needed. First, the administration should do what the Biden administration failed to do and address the long overdue misallocation of pension liabilities between the current self-sustaining Postal Service and the pre-1971 taxpayer-funded Post Office Department. This accounting error has placed, by even conservative estimates, at least $90 billion in unjust financial obligations on the Postal Service. Second, Congress should pass legislation to allow the Postal Service to properly invest the hundreds of billions of dollars already set aside for retirement costs in higher-yielding financial assets. These changes are practical, and they are fiscally responsible. While my union has reservations about the Postal Service Board of Governors' selection of David Steiner for Postmaster General, this is larger than one individual or one leader. Guaranteeing that the Postal Service remains an independent, non-taxpayer-funded, nonpartisan agency is key. We fulfill a universal service obligation that no other shipper does, could, or would fulfill. If Congress wants to help the Postal Service, I urge you to do everything possible to protect letter carriers and all postal employees, implement these necessary financial changes, and guarantee the Postal Service remains an independent, non-taxpayer funded public service as it has for the last 55 years. Thank you once again for inviting me to testify. I look forward to answering your questions.